Well, hi, I'm John Kinzer, and we are starting session 3 of our first series. The series is an introduction to principles of history, and we're going to start today on the principle of self-government. Let me review very quickly what is a principle. It's real important that this gets understood. In fact, with your students or people that you're working with, teaching this in whatever venue, it's real important to understand that a principle is a truth. It's a truth, it's an idea upon which other subordinate truths depend. So a principle is very, very important. It's what we plant. We plant biblical principles. We plant biblical ideas into our students, now into their heart. Now, we can also plant wrong principles, can't we? A principle, say a humanistic, man-centered principle. See, that's going to be a seed that we can plant, but it's going to bear bad fruit. Down the road, when the harvest comes in, that's going to bear some bad fruit in the individual. So we want to give biblical thinking and biblical principles to our teaching. Now, today we're going to look at self-government, and I think one of the things about government that we need to understand is that government can take a number of different forms. It can look a lot of different ways. Government is anything that does 4 things. It controls, directs, regulates, or restrains anything else. So think of the family government, a parent who's controlling, directing, regulating, restraining their child. Think of the policeman who is watching the traffic. What are they doing? They are controlling, regulating, directing, restraining someone from speeding or someone from committing a crime. Okay? Think of a principal in a school. What does the principal do? They enforce the rules. What do? They control, direct, regulate, restrain. So you can have many, many things. And of course, a civil government are the people passing laws, and the legislature controls, directs, regulates, restrains with the legislation that they pass. So government can have a number of different forms. A principle is that cause, source, or origin of a thing. So what's the principle? What's the foundational idea for government? Well, we're going to take a look at Proverbs 16:32. 16:32. I'm going to go ahead and put that up here because it is a great passage that speaks about self-government, self-control. 16:32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that rules his spirit than he who takes a city. So think about in Old Testament days how important it was to have a mighty man who could take a city. That's pretty good. I mean, you would want to have a bunch of mighty men to take cities, right? I mean, to defend your nation, to defend your city. But look what this says. Even more, even harder than being a mighty man is to be slow to anger. Slow to govern your spirit, to control your anger. And it says here, even more than taking a city, someone like David, who would take a city with his mighty men, even better than that is someone who rules his spirit. Did you realize that ruling your spirit was that hard? Be honest. I'm seeing some hands out there. Hey, that's right. It is tough to rule your spirit, isn't it? Okay? So that's kind of this basic. See, that's one of the foundational truths for this principle of self-government. Now, about 1650, a Protestant Christian in Holland wrote this great quote. I'm going to read it to you. His name, Hugo Grotius. And this is what he said. he knows not how to rule a kingdom that cannot manage a province, nor can he wield a province that cannot order a city, nor can he order a city that knows not how to regulate a village, nor he a village that cannot guide a family. Nor can that man govern well a family that knows not how to govern himself. Neither, now listen to this, neither can any govern himself unless his reason be Lord, will, and appetite her vassals. In other words, your mind, your thinking has to control your what? Your will, your appetite. Nor can your reason rule unless herself be ruled by God and wholly be obedient to him. So we have this, you could say it's kind of like an archery or a target, and way out here is the kingdom. You cannot rule the kingdom well unless you can manage a province well. You can't rule a province well unless you can handle a village. You can't do a village unless you can manage your family. You can't manage a family unless you can manage yourself. See, it goes right to the heart of things. That's one of the things I like about this particular passage. And then right here, in the dead center middle, is what? God. God has to rule your thinking so you can rule your will, your appetite, so you can manage your family. I wondered how you manage a family. Here it is. God has to work in you those principles, and then you can manage a family well. And then you can move outward. I had a person who told me, well, it doesn't matter. I've got a person running for office. This person was running for president of the United States. I won't put their name, okay? And they said, it doesn't matter what their personal life is like. It's how are they going to rule well in being president, being over this nation. And I said, no, it matters a lot how their personal life is like. So you have to be careful. Be careful. This has a lot of very good uses to it. So think about internally, when we think of the internal qualities that you have to rule over, your thinking, your thoughts, your emotions, your talents, your temper, your goals, your planning, your ambition. See, all of those, you could make a big long list of things and say, Lord, help me rule over those internal qualities. What about external qualities? Well, your external would be like your appearance, how you dress, what you eat, all these things. How do you cut your grass? How do you plant your crops? How are you with your behavior? See, all of that would be external. And here's what I'm telling, is that the internal is the cause. The external is going to be the effect. So learning to rule those internal qualities, those internal traits of your character is going to make you a better whatever you are. Teacher, parent, policeman, whatever your career, you're going to be better as you learn to rule those internal qualities. So remember, the goal is with your children, with your students, is to teach them to be self-governed, controlled, directed, regulated, restrained by themselves under God. Can I say that again? The goal is to be controlled, directed, regulated, restrained themselves, restraining themselves under God. As a parent, I want to graduate my kids to be a good adult. I don't want to hold them in my family forever. I want to train them, and then they can be that self-governed individual. God bless you as you apply this, learning it, and teaching it to others.